I know that I'm sitting with the shtender, and there's certain things that it's good that I know what I know. But then there are things that are beyond what I know. They're what's called makifin. There are elements that go beyond into a higher world. This is killing me. They go to a higher universe. But I can then know those things. I don't know them now, but I can know them. Like let's say you have a relationship with somebody. So there are elements of that relationship that you know about that person. Maybe you know what your fiance's favorite ice cream flavor is, but you don't know what her favorite type of cookie is. Now I hope that's not the deepest things that are not known. Or maybe you know certain things about their personality, but there's things that then are beyond that. You may know certain things that inspire a person, but then there are other things that I didn't even know. They're beyond what I know. So I want to present something now that I heard from Moti, which is that it's good that there are things that I don't know. If you hear this well, I think it's a very deep idea. It's good that there are things that I don't know, because that lets me know what I know. If I just knew things, I would never really know anything. It's only because there's things that I don't know that I say I know up until here, but there's a boundary to what I know. The fact that there are things that I don't know actually means that I know what I know. I need to have things that I don't know. I need to have things that I don't know. Because then I could really, the things that I know, I say, okay, I have there's almost boundary to the things that I know, because I know up until here. Can I know more? Sure. But at least I know what I know right now. So far, so good. There's things that I know, there's things that I don't know. And it's a good thing that there are things that I don't know, because it gives a parameter, it almost gives definition. I know up until here. And really, the more that you know of the unknown, the more you realize you don't know. But then you realize that you know what you know. For example, anybody here remember the first time they started learning Gemara? So you're like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know. And then you actually start knowing something. And you see, now I know something. But because you know something, the unknown, you realize how much bigger the unknown is. And then you go a little bit more into the unknown of Gemara, and then you realize how much bigger the unknown is. And then you go to Rabbi Hirschman's shir, and then you realize how much bigger the unknown is. And it keeps going like that. There's things that you know, and there's things that you don't know. And the unknown gets very, very big. And this is the way that it is in Avodas Hashem. We're going to learn this later. Tachlis hayediyah shaloi neida. The highest level of knowing is knowing that you don't know. So the Baal Shem Tov had a famous idea on this. He said there were two people that were getting ready to go see the king and go into his big palace. And the king had a beautiful, beautiful palace. So the first guy is like, why am I even going to go in? How could I ever know the greatness of the king? You know, he's so deep, he's so wise, he's so profound. How could I ever know? I can't even go into his palace. He's so beyond. And the second guy says, I'm going to go in. You're right, I can never fully know the king, but let me go into his palace. Let me see the different rooms. Let me go and see a little bit of the world that he lives in. So the first guy just doesn't know. The second guy, though, knows that he doesn't know. The highest level is to know that you don't know. But you got to know something to know that you don't know. Because the not knowing creates parameters on the things that I know. Okay, why do we go into all of that? Because that's our Torah. This whole Torah is speaking about things that you know and things that you don't know.
Originally we were speaking about Das of Hashem. How do we make the transition to like anything Das? From like Das to Hashem to like Das on anything?
So we were speaking about that Moshe Rabbeinu is the great leader, the great tzaddik, and Moshe Rabbeinu is revealing to us Das. And we said Das means Yesh Shalit Umoshel Ba'aretz, that Hashem, there is a you in this world, that's the Das. So the Das of Ata Haresel Das, Hashem, through Moshe Rabbeinu, you revealed to us that Ein Oid Milvadai. Das is a point of connection. And then we said in the whole Torah that I have to have my Das, which is my consciousness, being given over, because if I do that, then I'll live forever. Because even when the soul goes up to heaven, so what goes up to heaven? Not the body. Marbe basar, marbe rima, like the Mishnah says. The more gains, the more worm food. Now it's good to have gains, as long as you're using them for avodas Hashem. Like what does it say in the Eish Gym? In order to use our bodies to serve Hashem. Why else do we have the gains? Just for the magazine cover? No, the gains are for soul maxing. That's what the gains are for. So that all being said, is that when my soul goes up, it's my Das. It's really me that goes up. But how do I live down here also? The Rebbe said the main shleimus, if you want to be a perfected human being, you want to be up in heaven and down with your feet firmly planted in the earth. So how do we do that? We said we have to teach students and have children. Because when you have children, you give them Das. So I don't know if we have Hashem's Das. Hashem is the ultimate Rebbe. He's the ultimate Makif, and he's teaching us. If you feel more Hashem's Das in here, then you should let me know. There's a movement of what I am teaching my fellow, what I'm teaching, and he teaches me something. So I give him consciousness, he gives me consciousness. And then we mentioned yesterday's like last Lakuta Cafe was yesterday. So last time we were together, so when I share something that somebody else didn't know, so let's go back to our original idea, that there's things that I know and there's things that I don't know. So let's say you have a student and he doesn't know something, but you know it. So for him, that's a makif. That's something that was beyond him. Then you share it with him. Now he knows it. So we said through doing that, you then bring down a higher consciousness. Because the things that you know and the things that you don't know, you don't want to be static and say, you know what, this is what I know. It's interesting, that's like an animal. Which the Rebbe said was, the whole Torah here is trying to take a person out of acting like an animal which is stuck. An animal is what it is. Like the Maharal says, Behema is the letters Ba, Ma. In it is what you see. It's not like one day, a cow had this feeling like he wants to go to yeshiva, wants to improve his life, and one day he'll become a Ben Torah. He's a Behema. He's wonderful. Ba, Ma, what you see, Ba in it is Ma, is what it is. That's what it is. So to a person that says, this is all I have. If he doesn't realize that there are levels beyond, he doesn't even know what he knows. So when I share something, and when you guys share something with me, a higher thing that I didn't know is now going in. But that's making space for a higher consciousness to come in. And we're doing this all the time. When we're sharing with each other, when we're growing with each other. And then something amazing happens. So let's now go inside the Torah. Look at the end of Oisvav. Ulamala min hakol. And higher than all these levels, Lamala min hakol, Hema makifam elyonim, is these high worlds, all the way up there. Shel chacham ador. The person that's the tzaddik of the generation, and we know that exists inside of you and I as well. Shua Rebbe Shibador. This is the big tzaddik of the generation. She'ali Be'shazeh HaRebbe Ve'achacham Shibador. That through this high-level person. And he's oisik ledaber el talmidov. And he speaks with his students, umachnas them daitoi, and he's sharing things that he knows with them. So his wisdom is now going into the students, and then he draws down higher levels of consciousness. Okay, this next section that's about to happen is very profound. Is there time in the world to come? So generally we say it's l'mala min hazman. That's right. It's higher than zman. That this world that Hashem created is a world of time. Once you get to the world to come, it goes on forever.
But it has a start.
Beautiful, which means it can't be, it's not the infinite. Hashem is the only one who's the infinite. That's right. Hashem is the infinite. You could have a period of time that's going to continue forever. That's not the infinite one. Because there seems to be things happening along a scale. So look what the Rebbe here says. This section is actually very deep. V'amakifin shaloi, and he's going to connect it to the biggest tzaddik of the generation. And Reb Nachman was, he was very humble, but he knew who he was. That this is really Reb Nachman. The levels of things that the tzaddik is going towards, the things that he doesn't know, but he knows that he doesn't know it, and he's going there. He's journeying wherever SpaceX, begins. Where SpaceX ends, that's where he begins. V'makifin shaloi hem bechinas arichus yomim v'shanim. Makifin mean the things that I don't know. These are the things called long days and years. Arichas yomim v'shonim. Ki amakifin shaloi heim bechinas oilam haba. The makifin, the things that the tzaddik is journeying towards, is called the world to come, which Chazal say is shehu yoyim shekuloi aruch. This is a day that's completely long. A very long day. Yeah, Daniel?
It's completely long, and then it ends. It's not infinite. There's still time, it's completely long.
It's long that continues to go. So it's not the infinite, like we said. Hashem is the infinite. It just continues to go on. So is that called time? Is there time there? So look at the Rebbe says, Ki sham hu l'mala min hazman. It's above time. The world to come is above time. L'mala min hazman. Ki kol hazman shel kol olam hazeh. Everything of this world is kuloi ma shahaya u ma shiyeh. The Rebbe comes back to that idea. What was will be. Ma shahaya hu shiyeh. This world is a world that's predictable. What was will be. Moshe Rabbeinu was the messianic redeemer of the Jewish people, and he will be once again through Mashiach. His soul will come back inside Mashiach. He was, and he will be. By the way, the world of Masha Haya Hu Shiyeh, it sounds very much like the world of what? Of Yeshuvah Shalom, right? We said that Moshe Rabbeinu was always occupied with building up this world, helping people become human beings again. That's very much the world of operating within the healthy confines of this world. I'll give you an example. Do you know the sun is going to rise tomorrow?
It's going to rotate.
Without getting into you flat earther, bro? Or who's revolving around who? Without going in that direction.
Yeah.
From our perspective, do you believe that the sun will rise? How do you know, brother? How do you know anything? Because Masha Haya Hushia, from the reality of our world, of Yeshuvah Shalom, is that the sun came up yesterday and the day before, and for the last few millennia, And therefore I have no reason to believe it's not going to come up tomorrow. Now that's integrated into me. Is that idea a makif to me? No, that's a pinim. That's something that Yeshuva Shalom. I'm living with that. Rav Moshe gave me a great example. He said, are you worried right now that this chair under you is going to break? Why not? You never know, brother. Because you know what a chair is. You've sat on chairs in your life before. You know when generally something has 4 sturdy legs, that it stays there until there's some status change. But the status quo, the chair is going to be just fine. And therefore you're not sitting on this thing like with your mind occupied, like I don't know what's going to be. Because it's a pinim, it's integrated into you, and therefore it's not on your mind. And therefore you're able to just sit on the chair without any thought. I don't know if you ever even thought of that. Don't start thinking about it now. Don't worry, you're fine. Mashahaya, hushiyeh. What was will continue to be. But imagine you get a guy, some caveman or something. The guy never saw a chair in his life. And you put the guy in a chair and he's like, is this thing like... He doesn't know. It's a makif to him. It's still beyond. It's like, I don't know. And therefore his mind is like occupied with it as he's trying to integrate that, am I stable here? I don't know. Is this thing going to hold up? So Mashahaya Hushiyeh seems to be something like, just like the sun came up yesterday, it's going to come today. Just like there's days, and days create months, and months create years. And it creates stability in this world, in Dor and Mata, in the lower world, in our world. You need a certain stability. There's a day, there's a night, there's a certain predictability of things, there's cycles. It creates a lot of stability. Knowing that there's Mashahaya Hushiyeh. If it was like this yesterday, it'll be like that tomorrow. If poison was bad yesterday, then it's going to be bad today. And if health and good foods are good for you yesterday, then they should be good today. There's certain things that in this world, and you want to learn up this world. Rabbi Avram ben Reb Nachman had a famous saying that he said that anybody by the time they're 40 and they haven't figured out what foods are good for them and what foods are not good for them, then they're out. They're not living like a human being. That still is a makif to you? After 40 years, you still think that you need to just pop Myconex all day and give yourself a upset stomach? After 40 years, it's still a makif? It's still saying, I haven't figured that one out. Mashahaya Hushiyeh. If you just downing Ben and Jerry's gives you a tummy ache yesterday, for the last 40 years, why do you think something's going to change today? Mashahaya Hushiyeh. There's almost a responsibility for us to understand things in this world the way it was yesterday is going to teach me something about today. Yeah. Is this your set? Oh, thank you. We're in the shahakal.
It's one of the unwritten rules of life. Like you're, I don't think you find this anywhere explicitly in the Torah, but you're expected to live in reality.
Yes.
And it's very obvious to the people around you if you're not. And it's becoming increasingly dangerous with people are gonna want to find their different escapes, and now we've got the
very much
goggle, everything. You could really escape. You have to live
Oculus Prime me, and let's go. But maybe that is reality, brother.
Yeah, come on.
Maybe that is reality. The Apple Max Pro goggles, and we're in the real world now.
We just created a robot that can do chores for you.
There is the general social pressure that keeps people in check, because you're going to be an outcast if you're not living in reality.
Mashahaya Hushiyeh, what was will be, is very healthy to be in this world.
Right.
Very healthy. Understanding sleep, what is a healthy way to go to bed? What's a healthy way to wake up? What's healthy seder? What's a healthy way to run finances? Everything has to be done in a very healthy way, and it has to be integrated. And there's rules the way the world works, of taking responsibility for your health, for your life, physical well-being, emotional well-being, financial well-being. You have responsibilities in a world of Masha Hayuja, which is a world of Yomim, of Shanim, goal setting. Sometimes you have a person who's living, let's now compare this to Makifin. He's living in the world of Makifin. So you say to him like, bro, like I'll meet you downstairs, we're going out to a wedding later, I'll meet you downstairs by the coffee nook, in like 5 minutes and we're going to get in a cab. He's like, I don't know, brother. It's like, what do you mean? I'll see you in 5 minutes. Like, you never know. You're like, 5 minutes? Like anything could happen in 5 minutes, brother. You never know. Maybe we're just a brain in a jar. Well, that goes against all the evidence. But you never know, brother.
I just take it invited to the wedding.
So you can't live like it. Masha Hayuje is that, it's realistic that in 5 minutes you could be downstairs by the coffee nook and get into a cab. That's a realistic thing. At the same time, though, there's a world of Makifin. There are things that we don't know. There are things that are the beyond. But Hashem is telling us, through this Torah, by the Rebbe's way of seeing the world, is He's telling you need to live in a world of things that you know and be firmly planted, which is also this week's parasha, of the ladder of Jacob. That the Sulam was Mutzav Arza, was firmly planted on the earth, and then it went all the way up. All the way up.
So what about the concept of linear, like you can't commit to something because Hashem may have intervening?
So there is such a thing of saying that because something might come up, but I don't think a person, because then you could just bli neder everything.
Well, my brother does that all the time. He's a Bolshevik guy and he doesn't commit to anything because of bli neder.
So sometimes, I'm not saying any particular person, sometimes that could be, I'm not saying here, could be a function of just like not living in Dore Mata, which is being in this world and saying that there are Masha Haya Hushiyeh. It's realistic to say that I can meet you downstairs in 5 minutes without saying Bli Neder. I could say that. That being said, at the same time, I'm also open to a world of Makifin, things that I don't know, higher levels. But we're going to see, even in the higher levels, there is Seder as well. There is a level of Seder up there.
And not in the world to come.
Oh, so wait till the Rebbe is about to turn this upside down. Because we just said, in the world to come, it's Lamalam and Azman. There's no time. It's Lamalam and Azman. There's no time up there.
And we speak of time as a spiral. That's why it's Masha Hayah
Masha Haya Hushiyeh.
Into the spiral.
And in the world to come doesn't have time. So look what the Rebbe says now. So in this world, ki shamhu lamalam azman. But here, ki kol azman shel kol ha'olam hazeh, kuloi masha haya u'mashiyeh, hu kuloi ayin ve'efes, neged yoim echad. All of a sudden he's calling it one day. This whole world, all the days of this world, is like ayin ve'efes. Maybe David Shlomo has the power for this, the power bank. Shkoyach mamish. Is mamish ayin ve'efes is like nothing compared to 1 second in the world to come, which is a yoim shekuloi orach, which is a time that's completely long. So wait a second. Is it long? Are there days or not? V'sham ein shum zman, but there's no time up there. Kubachinas laman zman. It's above time. And then look at these words. Rak seder hazmanim sheyesh sham. And then there are times up there. Hubechinas hasogas shel makifin. These are. This is so deep. In this world, it's Masha Haya Hushiyeh. Things are predictable, and you should live firmly in this world. In the world to come, there's no time. Except that there is time. There's zmanim. Gishmei bracha, Rabbi said. There is time, but the time is this. Bechinas hasoga shel makifin, sheyesh makifin shehem bechinas yomim, veyesh makifin shehem bechinas shonim. There is time up there, But it's not like you measure a day or a year. Time up there means the understandings that are beyond you called days, and the understandings that are beyond you called days, and what are the understandings of years? Let's start it like this. Hasagas mean things that are beyond. The makifin. What is a higher level of, and we talked about in the beginning, there's things that I know, there's things that I don't know. The things that I know, I need to know. The things that I don't know are beyond me. Of the things that I don't know, how many levels are there? Endless. There's endless levels. But can you say that there are things that are beyond me that's like a first level I don't know? For sure. It's like if somebody taught you Aleph, so then what's a level beyond you is Beis. That would be like the next thing that you don't know. But what would be 50 billion levels of I don't know? Probably a Kabbalah share with the Baba Sali or something. That's much more you don't know than just learning Beis. So even the things that you don't know, there's many levels of you don't know. So let's just take the idea of days and years. What is the first level of I don't know? Maybe you could say, what would be tomorrow? A single day. A single day is a smaller I don't know than what's going to be in a year, right?
5 minutes to get downstairs.
5 minutes would be more predictable. That'd be much more of a I know. What's going to be in 100 years? That's a higher level of the I don't know. So in Olam Haba, it's above time, but there is time there. But time is not measured like it is down here as days and months and years. Time up there is measured in levels of things that you don't know, that you start knowing. So there's days up there, which is a level of going from something I know to I don't know, which is just a little bit of movement. But then there's years, there's longer, bigger conceptual things. Yeah, first Harry and then yeah.
So the days and years here aren't like, they're not necessarily different conceptions of time. It's just a greater conglomerate of ideas in general.
Yes. And days would be a conglomerate of ideas that I don't know, that I'm going to be delving into. That's like a level 1. Years would be higher levels.
How do you differentiate this world from that one? If on this world we also have different levels, and that one we also have different levels. When it's at the same time, it's different for everybody always. You know, the level of understanding is also 5, 10.
So yes.
In the next world, what's the role of having different levels of understanding?
Is that the journey that we're going on is understanding God deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, forever, into forever.
Will we become part of the forever a little bit?
We do, because we're going to be going on that journey forever.
Cool.
Yeah, Harry?
So, we make the jump from like kind of the idea of time to the idea of ideas at large and knowledge at large in general. But the way I was reading into it, I see kind of like it's talking about the outside ideas of days and years. My mind immediately went to how like there's this idea or like trying to reconcile the Torah with science and my understanding of like time and days and years in the Torah acting differently than we do today.
Like the 6 days of creation.
Of course, and also like with people in early in Bereshit living up to 900 or whatever.
So it's fascinating, the 6 days of creation that you're referring to. So we understand that what's a day before there's a sun and a moon? The constellations only come on day 4. So Yom Echad. What's a day? So a day, and by the way, we know that Adam did a lot in his first day. So what's a day in the world of without a constellation? It almost sounds like in Gan Eden, it's a little bit like the Olam Haba feel. Once he ate from the Eitz Hadas, he came more into Masha Haya Hushiyeh. More, even though on day 4 we already have the introduction of Masha Haya Hushiyeh with constellations. What was yesterday is going to be today. There's more predictability. So there's this move in the Torah of going up high and then coming back down low, and really living in both places at the same time. So let's see that inside. So the Rebbe here says, Bechinas tekufas hayomim, this is what it says in Shmuel, that there are periods, also tekufa means makif, makifim of days, and tekufas hashonim, periods of years, ve'elo makifin sheyesham. This is what Olam Haba is. Olam Haba is going to be this journey of us just going higher and higher and higher forever. Hein bechinas seder hazmanim sham. So it looks like there is zmanim up there. So when's Shachris up there? There's a seder hazmanim.
Why would you eat shakers?
There's a seder hazmanim. It's just that it's different. It's not like, oh, time for Shachris. It's that a zman is just a level of understanding. So there could be a seder of just going to higher makifin. V'asogas ha-makifin halalu ze ikr tanug. Now look at this. These understanding of higher and higher levels of consciousness is the main pleasure of Olam Haba. Now, did we have that language before in the Torah? We did. Where did we see that before in the Torah? We said that the main pleasure that Hashem has is when you and I down here, Ve'avisa tehila megushe afar mekrutze chomer, Hashem, that you desire the praises of mounds of dust and lumps of clay, is that when you and I turn from an NPC into a human being, that's the main pleasure that Hashem has. Hashem wants this world to be a holy world. All of a sudden now we're speaking about, and the main pleasure up there. So it looks like God's main pleasure, if we could say that, is when you and I in this world are acting in a way of responsibility in this world, and we are activating ourselves from the NPC into the first player shooter. Is that what's called? First person? First person shooter, meaning we're now in the game, and that we're praising you, Hashem. We're activating. We're not just blue-pilled. We're going through this world and speaking your praises. But the main pleasure of Olam Haba, it almost sounds like our main pleasure. So Hashem's main pleasure is when it's down here. Our main pleasure is when we're up there. So what's better? What's a Rabbi Berger? You need both. You need to be both down here, because that's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants a world down here that is filled with His light. But in a certain way, I want to be up there because it's just higher hasagas, learning deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper things.
It would be better to stay down here to serve Hashem, but then what will be the point of us dying and going up to another level that Hashem would want here in the first place?
That's because He says that I want you to have the greatest pleasure. And He made the world where it's not just this world.
Pleasure that it seems like He wants you to have pleasure, but He also wants it to end at one point, where you were in this world at least. Because if He wanted to, why don't He make us live forever and have pleasure forever for Him?
Exactly. So it's for us. It's for us to go higher and higher and higher, but we could only go higher and higher and higher because we started down here. We were teaching our students, we were having children.
I don't think it contradicts what He wants at the same time.
So this whole Torah is about being in both places at the same time. Remember when we said when a person passes on from this world? We said that the main thing is not for you to go up there. The Rebbe said the main thing is that you've taught so many people down here that you're here also. What do you mean, Rebbe? I thought I went up there. No. Yeah, you did. that because you left your das down here through your children, that yesh chalifa islamai, you are here also. You are in this world also. So you're up there and you're down here. Reb Nachman is mamish right here. The Rebbe didn't go very far. In fact, he's even more here than ever before. Ha'esh shali. The fires are burning, my friends. The fires are burning. And then Reb Nachman says, Ashrei misha zoicha la'asigam. Praiseworthy is the one. Someone's like, you should know, Rabbi Isai, if you start going up to the Makifin, it's going to be good. And this is what it means, that the purpose of knowing something, ki tachlis hayadiyah asher lo neda, that the purpose of knowing is not knowing, is that the higher up you go, you realize how much you don't know. But like we mentioned in the beginning, because there are things that I don't know, it lets me know what I know. Because now I see the boundary of what I know. Now what I know is something real. But then there's a higher level of something that I don't know, and then I have even a bigger understanding of what I don't know. Ki asogus elu makifin. The more I start understanding these things that I didn't know, shemechina shashua olam haba. Isn't that amazing? The pleasures of the world to come is just going to higher and higher levels of understanding. This is what the maybe the greatest Orthodox rabbi of all time, David HaMelech, King David said, that how good, this unbelievable goodness that you hid away for those that have awe of you, that the world to come is this place, asher tzafanta. When something is tzafan, it means it's hidden. It's another makif. But then, you ever buy an expensive thing? And it's in like 50 boxes? I remember one time I was buying some silver for my wife. So I went to the silver place, and I was just about to put it in my knapsack, and I paid, and let's go. They're like, whoa. They start getting out the wrapping paper, and then the wrapping paper had like another wrapping paper, and they put it in like a softer box. I'm like, is that it? No. Then it goes into another box, and then we're not done. There's the ribbons that go on it and stuff, and then there's another, and then there's the carry out of the store box. I thought about when something, and you take off one box, you take off another, and when something is hiding, it means that there's something very precious about it.
What you think?
In the world up there, there's deeper and deeper thing. You keep uncovering layers, and then there's deeper. And by the way, that's also a very deep thing of when you're taking off like wrapping paper, it builds excitement. There's an excitement of like, I'm going up. There's something more. There's something. They say the people that are chashuv people, they have like more, they wear more layers. Because they're saying that who I am is very, very special and sacred. And therefore there's like an element of like levels of wrapping paper.
They're very attached themselves to their physical.
If there's no clothing, then they're much more like, what you see is what you get. Like, whoa, you're much deeper than that. There's layers of who you are. And without, we can't be so, this is yeshiva level discussion, but when a person is intimate with someone, there's layers. It doesn't just, there's a layer and then taking off, and then there's levels of what it is. That there's secrets, and there's things that are going deeper and deeper. This is the great shashuam of Olam Haba. Ki heim rav atoivat sofen v'tomen v'sosen me'ein kol. And now the Rebbe says, V'zeh ma rav tuvacha. So pay attention now, we're going to focus on the word ma, and tomorrow we're going to go deeper into this. Is that, look back at the verse of King David. Psalms 31. If anybody wants to look up the Psalms 31. That we said, ma rav tuvacha, what is this great good? So ma daika. What's the word ma imply? Is ma something which is of this world, or is ma something of the higher world? Ma is usually saying of the higher world, because mazeh, what? You say what when you're like, I'm trying to touch something that I don't know. You don't say ma if you know something. So ma daike, ki hem bechinas ma, bechinas me chamisa, me pishpashta. You say to somebody, what do you know of what's going on? Where is Hashem's throne of glory? So he says, it's like up there. So the higher up you go, it's just higher and higher and higher. The higher up you go, the more you realize just how big Hashem is. Like we said in the beginning, the person that says, I'm not even going to go into the palace of the king, how could I know something? Well, you don't know anything. But the guy who goes into the palace and he realizes, now I just see how much I don't know of the greatness of the king, the wisdom of the king. It's like the king would come give a shiur. Everybody knows the king is the wisest man in the land. So one guy's like, I'm not even going to go to the shiur, he's too wise. Like, he's so great. So I'll never know him. You're right, you didn't go to the shiur, you don't know. But the guy who went to the shiur was like, now I know even more how much I don't know. I know that I don't know how big he is. Now, Rabbi Isai, if you noticed, on the cover here, what do you see? A crown. In Likutei Moharan, there's always like a symbol that the Chevra by Latal B'Torah likes to focus on, like one symbol. Why did they choose the crown? Because here the Rebbe says, V'zeh b'china shefa hakeser. And here he dropped it. Everything we're talking about, of course there's Kabbalah here. This is called the shefa of Keser. Keser is all the way up there. That when you're going to the world of Makifin, you're going higher and higher, you're touching the crown. But then the crown is higher. Maybe that's why the Strimals are getting higher and higher nowadays. It's just high. It's getting higher. The Keser. Ki Keser hu b'chinas makif. A Keser is something that's a makif. It's not in your body, it's on top of your body. It's something in the beyond. It's Keser. Kitruas binyamin. It's something beyond. It's in a higher place. Let's just begin Zayin. And now the Rebbe goes back to the Chacham. Remember we said there is a person in every generation who's all the way up there. And we know in a humble way, the Rebbe is referring to himself. He's saying there's a place in Keser that the tzaddik is all the way. We saw the Makifim Elyonim, this new category of Makifim. B'china Shefa HaKeser. And this person is connected to the Shefa all the way up of Keser. Hu tzarach sheyeh lo b'chinas kol. Now the Rebbe introduces a new word. And this tzaddik needs to have something which is called kol. What's kol mean? Everything. All. Yeah, Harry? For sure. Now the tzaddik is not God.
No, it said a couple weeks ago when Hashem blessed Abraham,
And Bakol.
and it said that one of the ways the Kabbalistic ways that he used to describe it was saying one of the parts of the blessing was he Yerach, or whatever it is.
Bakol.
Kol was the aspect of Hashem that he allowed Abraham to wield.
Kol, the Zohar says, and he quotes it here. Hutzarach sheyeh b'chinas kol, b'chinas ki kol b'shamayim va'aretz. That kol is something which is heaven and earth. It says the Targumai, based on the Zohar, Da'ochid b'shmaya va'ara. The power of kol is the ability to unify heaven and earth. Kol means to unify. So what's the tzaddik doing? He's all the way up there, but is he all the way up there exclusively? Is someone a tzaddik if they're just like, wow, he's all the way up there, He's like in an ivory tower, he's so holy, nobody could talk to him. He's like, you know what I'm saying? He's like on a mountaintop. Our tzaddikim is very important. the Jewish perspective of a righteous person is he's all the way up there, and at the same time he's down here with the Chevra. He's all the way up there, mamish, and he's down here. Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, a blessed memory. Anybody went to his house? Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky. He would invite you right into his house, into his living room, into his room where he slept, and you just schmooze. Depends on how much time you got. He would be sitting there like tzitzis out, like in his house shoes. You're literally he's like with the island. He's all the way up there, but at the same time, he's right down here with you and I. The real tzaddik is somebody that's able to be with the people, for real.
Relatable from if you, anybody at whatever level they are can go to the king's cheer and still another.
Very relatable, very relatable, which I think is very different than the secular world of politicians. That's right, they're all the way up there, and they're not interested with the
You never actually see them talking to you like normally.
or movie stars or things like this.
But weren't we talking about Das being the unifier of heaven and earth?
That's a true sign of Das, because here the tzaddik Hador has the chef of Keser. By the way, Keser is a code word for Das. It's called Das Elyon. Keser has to be Das. He's getting all the way from the top, and he's connecting all the way down. All the way. He's up in Shemayim, but at the same time he's down here. He's all the way up there, but he's right here with the Chevra. He's Ochad Shemai Va'ara, Hainu Shiyeh Oichez U'Mekayim Shnei Ha'olamim. He's holding and he's holding up both worlds. So where is he? Is he up there? Is he down here? He's both at the same time. Oilam ha'elyon va'oilam ha'tachton. He's all the way up there and he's all the way here at the same time. Shemachin is shamayim va'aretz. The tzaddik has this power to both be all the way up there. The Yanuka is all the way up there, and he totally is with the people. Totally with the people. You ever seen pictures of the Baba Sali with the people that put their arm around the rabbi, selfies with the Baba Sali. A real tzaddik is all the way up there and all the way down here, relatable with the people. So this Torah is moving, this Torah is opening up. This Torah is das. This Torah is things that I know and things that I don't know. But then there's going to be things that are higher levels that I don't know. And I'm going up and up and up. But at the same time, I'm oisig b'yeshuva shel olam. I'm involved in building up this world of teaching, das. And remember, not just das, friendships like we talked about. That was a big part of the Torah. We said it's not only when there's a Rebbe and a student, it's when you're talking to your friend, and you're a Shemayim, and you've got good friends, and you're unified, and you go out for dinner with one of your buddies, and you just talk about life, and you're a Shemayim. You're very integrated in Yeshuva Shalom. Your friend says, you want to go out for dinner? I don't know, brother. You never know. Maybe the restaurant will shut down later. How do we even know? No, that's not Yeshuva Shalom. Let's make a reservation. That I'm all the way up there, but I'm living here at the same time. There's something so, I feel healthy in Reb Nachman's Torahs, in Breslov, that's so balanced. It's about being a very lofty person, but a very responsible, relatable person all at the same time. And we're going to see tomorrow, this term is called Dore Mala and Dore Mata. Is that I'm living up there and down here at the same time. It's Ochez U'Mekayim Shnei Olamus. Shemayim Va'ara, the Ochad Shemayim Va'ara. So Rabbi said we should see Mamish, the great days that Shemayim and the Aretz unify once and for all. And you know what location was the unifying place of heaven and earth? The Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash is where Shemayim kisses the Aretz. Zochav and the Keva. We should be Zochav Mamish. They're going to see the great days ahead. That the whole world is going to unify. And we're going to see Ki Mea Shemayim Al HaAretz. Like we say in davening. Like the days of Shemaim. It's interesting. Kinei, the days of Shemaim. Up there are days, but it's different types of hasagas. Al ha'aretz. They're going to have the bechina of the makifin of days, even down here in our days, in this world, and we should be zoicha mamish to this once and for all. The binyan beis hamikdash and Mashiach tzidkeinu, amen ve'amen. Awashreinu matdogeinu manayim golei. Oh, awashreinu matdogeinu manayim goleinu. Awashreinu matogeh shezachin lekarev lerabeinu. Awashreinu matogeh hoy umanayim goraleinu. Shachre